Welcome, Sojourners, to the Women's Leadership Mindset series presented by Teresa K. Page, LLC. My name is Teresa Page. I am your host and looking forward to spending these next few moments with all of you. We have a lot of work to get done on today, but first, allow me to invite you to connect with me by subscribing to my website and YouTube channel. Connect and follow me on LinkedIn, and always feel free to contact me directly via email at teresakpagellc@outlook.com. So what is our goal? Well, as an author, speaker, coach, and mentor, my mission is to help professional women renew their leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose through the mediums of leadership development and coaching services. However, the Women's Leadership Mindset series is a new initiative intended to spotlight powerful women leaders and how they serve the world through their professions and purpose. So with the goal to help women realize their unfulfilled dreams and re-energize the leaders they always were, this platform is designed to enhance, empower, educate, equalize, and even emancipate, as our special guests share their entrepreneurial stories, provide valuable resources, and guidance in a caring, professional, and impactful manner. So, let's get down to business. Well, all right. In today's video, it is my pleasure to welcome to my virtual stage Corry Lang, owner of Corry Lang Detoxify to Heal of Encinitas, California. Corry Lang is a certified regenerative detoxification specialist and iridologist with a background in scientific research, nutrition, and herbal medicine, who has healed herself of debilitating chronic illness symptoms. She helps women to determine the underlying root causes of their seemingly incurable illness symptoms, such as chronic fatigue, brain fog, constant pain, swollen joints, rashes, autoimmune, or mystery illnesses, using a scientific and measurable approach, and guides them to detoxify and heal themselves so they can start living again without pain, fatigue, and pharmaceuticals. Many women either receive minimal answers or no real solutions from their healthcare providers, or find themselves overwhelmed by unreliable information online. Corry provides clear, accurate, and actionable health guidance, offering customized herbal remedies and a strategic detoxification process grounded in integrative, evidence-based, natural medicine. True healing encompasses all levels: body, mind, and emotion. As a trained life and emotional health coach, Corry helps women build confidence, strength, self-worth, deepen intuition, and cultivate empowering beliefs that support their healing journey and personal growth. So to contact Corry, you can reach her on her website at corrylang.com, and you may also connect with her on her website on social media for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. So we'll bring this information back, including Corry's free gift, before we go. But first, I want to say welcome, Corry. How are you?
Thank you so much, Teresa, for inviting me. I am so happy to be here, and I'm doing really well. Thank you. And how are you?
Doing great. I got a little tickle in my throat, but I'm doing all right. So I'm feeling great. I trust you had a wonderful holiday season. And so by the time this conversation views, it's going to be in a brand new year, 2025. And so I trust that our conversation on today is just going to rejuvenate and empower women to really take their health very seriously in 2025 so they can renew their confidence as they move forward in all of the things that they have to do. So I'm really excited about our conversation. I'm most excited about the way that we met. We had the opportunity to meet in a virtual networking event, Women Who Network, with our home friend, Kaden Jacobs. So we're going to go ahead and get down to business. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, thank you. So my name is Corry Lang. I am originally from Germany. That's why I have an accent that I can't get rid of. And I've been living here in the United States for 22 years now. I came over originally with my boyfriend at that time, who had a scholarship at a research institute. We were both working in research institutes, and I accepted a job. I just for fun applied for a job and got a job at the university here, UCSD, and so I stayed here. And then I had a PhD project that takes 2 years, and I wanted to complete that project. And so I just somehow got stuck here in California. And it's not the worst place to be. I love living here. Um, After my time in science, I did 12 years in science, I decided that we really kind of put the cart before the horse. We have to prevent disease instead of finding new treatment methods for our horrible chronic illnesses. And I believe that if we prevent disease, we don't even have to get sick. So I studied nutrition and nutritional therapy, naturopathy, regenerative detoxification a little bit later. But during that time, I was working with people and herbs, herbal medicine. And I also am a life coach. I got trained in life coaching. I had 1,500 hours of life coaching training and was leading seminars at the time, life coaching seminars through my life coaching school. And I was doing pretty well with all this, and then I got sick. I started to have chronic illness symptoms. And I think I had these symptoms for a long time, but then my dad got sick. He started having dementia. He needed to transition into a nursing home, and his wife was sick with cancer, and she died. And all this was so emotionally stressful for me. That's when I really got sick. So that's happened a lot of times. People with chronic health issues, they get really sick when they have something in their lives that's either stressful for them on any level, or they have, something emotional going on for them. Yeah, we'll go into this later. But so I got really sick. I was actually bedridden for a whole week. I couldn't get up out of bed anymore. And I had pain all over my body, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, massive brain fog to the point of dementia. I couldn't remember what I was talking about 5 minutes ago. And all these symptoms all of a sudden there was such an impact on my body. I couldn't work anymore. I couldn't walk at my worst times. My muscles were so weak all over my body that I couldn't stand up. And I kept going to doctors and they couldn't find anything. And they kept telling me, everything's all right. Your blood work checks out. Come back in 6 months. And they offered me antidepressants and they thought it was all in my head and I needed attention. And I was like, why would I make this up? I don't need attention. I have a good life. So it was very frustrating to go to doctors, and I don't blame them. I know they're not trained for this, but still, I wanted some better care, and I wanted someone to care about me and my symptoms and not just send me off and dismiss me and tell me to come back in 6 months. And so when I was really sick and I couldn't walk anymore or work, I was really worried. I was running out of money fast. And so there was one night where I thought about ending my life because I was in so much pain and it was so debilitating and I couldn't work anymore that I couldn't live like this. And then I felt like, to be honest, there was a presence in my living room that joined me from nowhere and said to me, why don't we just heal this? And I spoke to the presence and I said, do you know how to heal this? Because then let's please heal this. Yes. And then, well, I call it an angel. This angel presence said to me, yeah, let's just figure this out and let's heal it. And it gave me so much hope in that moment that this is actually curable, even though the doctors didn't know what to do with me, that I started to reading the medical literature. I went into all the medical literature and started reading about my symptoms, and I was really digging. And my symptoms are not that uncommon. They're actually pretty common, and they had been known since the 1960s, at least. And even in the 1960s, the scientists were pointing to a virus. So after reading all this, I went to my doctors and I said, can you please test me for this virus? I think I might have it. And they were making fun of me. They were like, oh, we were on the internet. Are we a doctor? Haha. And I felt so disrespected. I yelled at them. I was so mad and so tired and exhausted and so much pain. And I said, no, I'm your customer. You don't get to talk to me that way. I'm paying you. And then I actually screamed at them, to be honest. And then they did take my blood. They did run the test. And I did have that virus. And then I was like, okay, now what? Do you have anything for me? And they said, there's nothing for it. We don't even know what that is. And that was only 6 years ago. And then I was like, okay, whatever. So I left and I kept researching and searching for a way to heal myself. And I looked at whatever was out there at that time, all kinds of herbal protocols and supplements and, you know, nature's way to heal myself. Of course, I didn't want to take pharmaceuticals because I thought they really don't help. They suppress your symptoms, but in the long run, they make your body more toxic and more acidic. So I didn't want to take pharmaceuticals. But then eventually I landed on a method. It's called regenerative detoxification. And what that means is that we detoxify our organs and body systems from the things that make us sick. So in this case, a virus and its cofactors, heavy metals, parasites, toxicity in general, like toxins, pesticides, chemicals, a congested lymphatic system, and all these underlying root causes. And slowly, I started to feel better. Actually, not slowly. Within 2 weeks, I started to feel better. But it took me 9 months altogether to really, really heal. And after 9 months, I had consistent, good energy, no more fatigue, no more brain fog, no more pain in my body, no more swollen joints. I was feeling so good, better than in my 20s. Had all this energy, started traveling through Peru. I was like, and played volleyball twice a week at the beach and all these things. And I'm so grateful. And that was 6 years ago that all this happened. My symptoms have never come back. And then I studied this method, got certified in it, and now I help other, mainly women, to do the same thing, to get to the bottom of what's actually making them sick with their chronic symptoms and to detoxify from whatever that is, whatever makes them sick. And it's really working. It's working well. And as I said, I'm not mad at the doctors. I know they're not trained for this, but I do believe that we need, as the customers, as the patients, we need to demand better care. We need to tell them what we really want from them. And that's the mission that I'm on, really, against the industries.
Well, that is an amazing story, Corry, and thank you so much for being so transparent about your experience that really have led and helped you create a business to be able to help others. So thank you so much. There was so many things that you really talked about that I wanted to kind of take a moment to really talk about. I know I pulled out about 3 or 4 points that you talked about there. So first and foremost, as we move forward, from a high level, and I know that you can't get into all of the details on today, but from a high level point of view, can you give us what does regenerative detoxification, what does that look like from a high level perspective?
Okay, so regenerative detoxification means that we help our tissues and organs and cells to detoxify so that they can regenerate themselves and heal, because our bodies are designed to regenerate. There are cells that recycle within 20 minutes. They're actually programmed to die. It's programmed cell death, apoptosis, and then the cells die and get recycled in the body. Our bodies are very intelligent and organized, so we are designed to regenerate. And this method, regenerative detoxification, uses nutrients and herbal medicine to detoxify, to wash out all the toxins that are in our body, the heavy metals, the parasites, the things that we accumulate over time because we have effectively poisoned our whole environment. I mean, we have toxic building materials, we have microplastics and heavy metals in our food, in our makeup, in our cars, everywhere. And we accumulate these things in our fatty tissues, in our intestines, in our brain, in our breast tissue a lot of times. So we need to wash these things out. And the process, it's a process. It is based on nutrients, so species appropriate diet, plus herbs that break up toxins and flush them out from our tissues.
Well, that's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. So it's mainly about diet and herbs that are specific, and I like the way that you said that, species specific. So I thought that was really cool. One of the things that you mentioned earlier is that even though you provide this particular service on how to detoxify so that we can live, our bodies can be much healthier, you mentioned about being able to prevent disease altogether. And I know that might be difficult, especially in our world where there's so much industrial movement going on. But what steps, again, maybe from a high level, how can we, maybe starting today, moving forward, how can we then begin to prevent disease, do you think?
So when we remove the things that make us sick, we don't have to get sick, right? When we give our body a chance to regenerate and heal, and then after that we keep removing the things that make us sick, then there's no reason for our bodies to get sick. Being sick is just the body basically telling us there's something wrong here. And all our chronic illnesses, including cancer and dementia and all our heavy illnesses, are preventable and also curable. And I know that genetics sometimes play a part, but our doctors tell us it's genetics. And I hear that, but I don't believe that. We might have the genetic predisposition, but it doesn't mean that we will actually get this illness. Because there's also a thing called epigenetics, and that is more about the environmental factors. So I do believe that we can prevent disease and we can cure disease. The way to prevent disease is, as I said, we remove the things that make us sick. So the toxins, the pathogens. Most of our chronic illnesses are based on pathogens and toxins. And if we remove these from, if we eat the foods that are clean or, as I said, species appropriate, and then detoxify regularly, many cultures have one detoxification day a week, right? They fast, for example, on Saturdays or Sundays, and that is their detoxification day. And we in our Western culture, we don't often do that anymore. We never detoxify. We just keep gobbling down the food, and especially here in the US, the food has so many additives and so many horrible ingredients, and they form illnesses in our bodies. So if we stop eating the unhealthy foods, eat the healthy foods instead, and keep detoxifying, we can prevent disease.
That's wonderful. And I like the way that you kind of laid that out. And it seems like that diet is a big, huge part of this, in addition to fasting. And Corry, you know that we're living in an inflation right now, and that we also know that food can get pretty expensive, and especially for families that's four or more, things like that. What are some tips? And I know it probably wasn't on our list to talk about, but what are some tips that would help a family to be able to eat as clean as possible in this inflationary period?
So to be honest, I think the inflation isn't, first of all, it's going down. It has been going down for the past 2 years, right? There are a lot of stores that have lowered their prices already, and prices are coming back to like how they were 3 or 4 years ago, or let's say 2 or 3 years ago. um, so the inflation is not as bad anymore as it was, and we have done a lot of work to recover from that. And so what I would recommend is for people to buy just the plain fruits and veggies and not the specialty products. The specialty products are the most expensive. You know, the blueberry kombucha and those things. Those things are expensive in any store. But just like a bunch of kale is still $1.79. That's how it used to be. It's still the same price, even if it's organic. And I know the hamburger patties are cheaper, but that's really just, I think they are, but that's really just the bad food. And over time, this food makes us sick, and then you have to pay more to, help with your diseases and your illnesses. So I have a budget just for food because I eat really healthy and I don't do anything else. I don't go out and party. I don't buy drinks at the bar or those things. I just spend my money on healthy foods. And I mean, I'm generalizing a little bit right now, but I know that the actual foods like apples, bananas are still 12 cents. One banana is 12 cents here. That's really cheap. Okay, I eat tons of bananas, by the way. And so the actual food items are not that expensive. It's the specialty products that are expensive. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you except that I feel that real food is not that expensive.
That's awesome, the way that you say real food. So just plain fruits and vegetables. Maybe stay away from the specialties right now, as we're navigating. But as you said, inflation is slowing itself down for us, and so that's very good. So thank you for giving us some insight Now, I know we still got a lot of conversation to get to, but there's still one or two more points that you made that I wanted for you to kind of talk a little bit more on. Now, I know that you did your research as far as to understand what was really going on with you, even after you've gone to healthcare professionals that could not necessarily find something. But I like the way that you took time to start doing some research yourself. How important is, and it's almost like you have taken on a ownership of your own health. As I look to form this question, how important is it for us as individuals to have ownership over our bodies, especially when our doctors or our healthcare providers aren't able to really find out what's going on with us, even though we know that something is really happening and it may not be showing up on the test. How much ownership do you feel like that we need to take on that, or how often do you see your clients taking on that kind of ownership before they get engaged with you?
I love that question so much because this is exactly up my alley. That's exactly what I'm here for. I feel what my purpose is to empower women to take back their power and to take on their health themselves. Because I think, especially in this culture, we are a little bit trained or brainwashed to believe that we find the answers outside of ourselves and other people have to give us answers. It's not true. When you feel into your body, you can, first of all, there's the female intuition. We have very strong power in ourselves, a very intuitive power that can help us heal and help us to empower ourselves. But this is part of the whole patriarchy thing that I also wanted to address. As women, we are so subdued, especially here in the US. I'm from Germany, from Europe, where women are much stronger. Honestly, they're more equal to men over there. Not all the way equal yet, but a lot more equal than here. I just feel that women here are more submissive towards men and authority, and especially with doctors that are still mostly male, or women that conform to that male authority in the medical industry. Female doctors conform to that authority as well, in my experience. There seems to be a shift needs to be necessary, seems to be necessary for women to take back their power and to, when I say do their own research, that is also a little bit of a hot topic because a lot of information on the internet is not very good. It's still misleading. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet. But what I did was I read the medical literature. I read the actual research, the science papers. And that is the real research. And that's, I don't know if everybody can do this, and you need to have access to that as well. But I mean, there are places where you can look all this information up. Like one is PubMed. PubMed.com is a link where you can find all these research papers. But of course, research is kind of dry and not very interesting to read. You know, not everybody wants to read that. But so I think as women, we need to take back our power. We need to step into our power. We need to listen to our female intuition. We are able to heal ourselves. We don't need pharmaceuticals to heal ourselves. We need nature. And we have been subdued for a long time, for thousands of years. We have generational trauma. We almost always believe we're worth less than men. This may be generational trauma. It may be inherited from our mothers and grandmothers. I think now is really the time where women are stepping into their power, especially the younger generations. Like the 15-year-olds, they're actually kind of sassy these days, and I love it. They don't take shit from men anymore, which is great. So this is very, very important that we step into our power. So thank you, Teresa, for that question. This is definitely part of the healing process, is to stand up and be like, no, I'm going to heal myself. And there are ways to do that. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I do want to lean into that just a little bit more. But before I do, you talked about research and understanding that all information online is not always good information. It could be misinformation or disinformation. What are maybe some, as far as some cues that for women and even for our brothers who might need to do some additional research, what are some things to look for? I know there's some things that I look for if I'm trying to do some research, as you made mention of research papers, maybe links that end in edu or maybe .gov or different things like that. What are other links or link endings that individuals may be able to look for to understand that this is a trusted resource?
Yes, and by the way, PubMed, I'm sorry I gave you wrong information. When you just said that, it ends in gov, not in .com.
Okay.
Yeah, PubMed ends in gov. Yeah, so that's definitely a good way to look for real information is the correct websites, the edu and gov. And I would just look for anything that's scientific, that's peer reviewed, because real scientists, they don't do this for money. They don't have an agenda. They just want to do research. They just want to do what's good for humanity. And there are real scientists, they might have a thesis, and then another scientist across the globe has a different thesis, and these two will get together at a conference and compare their results and their research. And whoever has the better results or the more credible research, this person will be strong and the other scientists will hop on board with him. There's no ego involved with scientists. They will abandon their research if they can't prove their thesis and join the other team if that is, indicated in science. So I love scientists. I love science. It's very clear cut for me. We have the other science that is paid for by corporations, and that is not the credible science. I agree. And that is where the misinformation comes in. But scientists themselves, they have no agenda, and they're honest. And their papers are peer reviewed. Their results have to be reproducible. Other scientists have to be able to reproduce the results. Only when that happens, only then the science actually gets published in credible papers. And so this is the stuff that we want to read.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you for highlighting what trusted resources look like, that they have to be scientific, peer-reviewed, that reproducible, and that they have been published. And also some great URL endings is the .edus or the .govs or the like. So thank you for pointing that out. I want to circle back around to what you mentioned about maybe some generational traumas and different things like that. Earlier when you was telling us your story, and as far as with your experience, that even though you did find out that there was a virus at play, a lot of what was going on with you was because of the emotional stress that was put on you from other external matters that was going on, whether it was the illness of your father and different things like that. So here's what I want to present to you. While I realized that us being exposed to toxins as well as to pathogens, unhealthy diet, that those are all contributors to illness and disease of different types. But there was an old ancient writing that indicates, or an old ancient proverbs that indicates that hope deferred maketh the heart sick. But when the desire comes, it is a tree of life. So I'm going to say that one more time, that hope deferred, it makes the heart sick. But when desire comes, it is a tree of life. How much do you feel that as ordinary citizens, whether in the U.S. or just a global family at large, that a lot of our illnesses is not necessarily contributed to an actual disease, but it might be dis-ease because we may not be living out our full potential, or we're not living out the things that we had hoped for, the things that we aspired to, the things that we have dreamed of? How much of that, in addition to emotional stress and maybe generational traumas, are that maybe most of that can just be where our body is responding to us not living out our fullness, or, as you said before, being conformed or have lived many generations being subdued in a lot of ways. So I know that's a loaded question, but just to kind of melt it down just a little bit, how much do you feel that a lot of our illnesses is contributed to the fact that we may not be living out to our full selves and our full dream and vision for our lives?
So you're absolutely right. This is a loaded question, and I love it. So I completely agree that when we don't live out our full purpose and we're not fully inspired by our lives anymore because we're not living our purpose and our mission, that takes a toll on our immune system. So all these negative thoughts that lead to negative emotions, they kind of subdue our immune system. And when we already carry a virus inside of us and that virus is dormant at the time, which was the case, by the way, most of our chronic illnesses, when they're based on viruses, the virus sleeps, it's dormant in our tissues and organs, it doesn't do anything, but then it gets reactivated when, for example, when our immune system is busy with other things, then this virus can get reactivated, and that's when it attacks our organs and our nervous system. That's what happened when I got so sick after that emotional stress about my dad and my stepmom. So yes, absolutely. When we are not living our fullest, not living our full life, or being depressed about circumstances, or depressed not in the clinical sense, but if we're just sad or low on energy or dealing with emotional stressors, that's when our immune system gets weakened, and that's when pathogens have an entryway and can attack us and attack our bodies and our organs. That's a huge component, absolutely. Living our fullest life makes us happy and brings our immune system up and our defenses up against viruses. And that's why one of the component in my programs actually is to give people hope. Like the angel in my living room, when I was losing hope, the angel came and said, let's just heal this. That's when I got hope. I was like, wait, this is curable? And then I thought about this, like, maybe this is curable. And then I had so much hope and so much energy. And as weak as I was, and I couldn't even stand up, but I schlepped myself to the computer and opened all these medical research papers that are so boring to read. But I read them because I had hope, I had energy again. And that's how my healing journey really started. So to answer your question, yes, that's a huge component.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for giving us some insight. So let's finally get down into the rest of our conversation. So you talked about your program. Let's talk about your program. Let's talk about Corry Lang Detoxify to Heal. What does that look like? Tell us about what that program is all about, and what does it look like for a client to work with Corry Lang?
Okay. Yeah, so first of all, we meet the client, the potential client and we meet and we talk a little bit about what's actually going on with them, their goals, what they want to achieve, and are they committed? Are they willing to really heal this? Because you won't believe this, or maybe you will. A lot of people don't actually want to heal. There's something that they're trying to prove with their illness. It's very subconscious. If they're willing to look at it, then I always love to take them on because I also do life coaching and emotional health coaching. So we kind of look at the underlying reasons why they got sick in the first place, what's actually underneath all this. There's often childhood trauma or PTSD, so we look at all those things as well. But so in our consult, we just try to determine if one of my programs is actually right for them, if we are a good fit, and if they want to work with me, because sometimes they don't, and that's fine too. And then I help them to determine the next steps for them. So during our call, we just try to figure out what's next for them, whatever way that looks like. And I do refer them to other people sometimes, or to free resources, and then they can read a little and figure out for themselves what they want to do next. But if we decide to work together, then first of all, I do iris readings. So after reading all their blood work and doing their health consult, their full health assessment, which is a whole catalog of questions that I ask them, I also do iris readings, meaning I read the irises in their eyes, which your iris is connected to all your organs and body systems through the nervous system. So in your iris, you can see every organ and body system, and I can tell the stage that they're in, like the state of health of your organs, your nervous system, the level of toxicity. Are there heavy metals? Is there high cholesterol? All these things. We can see old injuries, genetic predispositions, hormonal changes. So there's a lot of data we can gain from your iris reading. And I compare the iris reading to the blood work, and then I write a customized herbal protocol. So every person is different, and just based on their symptoms and based on what's going on in their body, this herbal protocol will be very customized. And depending on their symptoms, I suggest different programs to them, different program lengths. And then they have weekly herbal protocols. So every week they're whatever they're taking, herbal medicine will change. We up the dosages, we add more herbs, and it's a very customizable process. So every person gets their own program basically. And there will be emotional health coaching, if that's, indicated. And in most chronic illness cases, it is indicated. There is trauma from the past, and we try to dig that up and release it. And it's all very gentle, the whole process, by the way. I need to say that because sometimes people think this is a brutal process, but it's really not. It's very gentle. It's a step-by-step program. Some people need a lot of support. Other people don't need any support. They're type A. They just want the results. So whatever the client needs, I am there for them. I hold their hand or just give them the protocols. But most of the time, people do want support and guidance. And that's exactly what I needed when I was sick. I didn't have any guidance. And I had to figure it out myself. And that's why it took 9 months, to be honest, because I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. But nowadays, I shrank this time. I condensed the information that I applied to 3 or 6 month programs. And that's typically one round of detoxification. That's typically enough to get people on a really good trajectory. Then I also teach them how they can heal themselves in the future. If they should ever get sick again, they can apply the same principles. So they basically learn to be their own healer after our programs.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So how do individuals, or how do you acquire the clients that you work with? So what are the best ways for individuals? How do individuals find you to work with you?
So a lot of times it's referrals actually from previous clients, but I go to a lot of networking meetings. And for me, I'm a relationship person. I like to build relationships. I think that's the most important thing. And every time that I'm of service to others, I feel the best. I personally feel the best. Just being of service is, I don't know what that is about, but it makes me happy. And so networking meetings are ideal for me and my personality traits because I like to make connections. And then typically I stay in touch with people. And there's professional follow-up, but there's also personal contacts and you can't do it with everybody, I know, but you pick your people that you like, right, that you align with, and then you follow up with them. And then eventually down the road, I typically get referrals from those people, or they invite me to a collab or to a podcast episode or something like that. It's really good to connect more with people, of course. And then I also have a free webinar once a month where I talk about all this, where I talk about how I healed myself, the detoxification process and the science and all that. And that is a great way for people to just get to know you, to get used to how you speak, and they decide during this webinar if they like you or not, or if they trust you or not. And that's typically where I get clients from. But everybody has to find their marketing strategy. That's not just, what is the word? It's not one approach for everybody, right? You have to individualize your own marketing approach. But mine is building relationships, networking, and my webinar.
Yes, absolutely love that networking, relationship building, and also, like you said, allowing people to come in to your webinars, like you said, to see if they like you. And that's generally how business works, that people want to work with people that they know, they like, and that they trust. And so, Corry, as far as in the lane of trust, I know that it is not your intention to dampen anyone's trust in their in their healthcare providers or anything like that. So how do you go about building trust to let your clients know, whether they're your existing or prospective clients, know that your process is trustful, that it's trustworthy, and that they can also trust you in addition to their healthcare providers? How do you establish that trust beyond the networking, beyond the webinars, and as you build on that relationship?
So first of all, I want to address the healthcare providers. So I do tell my clients to stay in touch with the healthcare providers, to tell them what we're doing and to involve them in our process. And that actually, surprisingly, a lot of times those doctors, they love this. They actually, a lot of doctors are good people and they want to help their patients. So when they hear of a program like this and it works, they're all in, they're all supportive. And then they also help their patients to lower if they're taking pharmaceuticals, to help them lower their dosages and wean off of the pharmaceuticals. I've seen all that. So that's why I never bash on doctors. I really think they are our partners in this, and we want to be their partners in this. So we want to work together and also educate the doctors at the same time, because they're, sadly, most of them are just not trained to deal with chronic illnesses from, a naturopathic standpoint. So in order to build trust, I feel like when you really care about somebody and you're really invested in their health, then the trust comes naturally, because the healing really takes place in the relationship. If you have a good relationship with your client, then they heal well. They do all the steps, they do the work and the homework, basically, and then the program works. So I think the key really is just to relate to them like almost like family. You want to be by their side, you want to help them, they're your friend, not really your friend, they're professional friend, right? Or like family. And when I do that and I relate to people that way, then they do trust me. And then of course you have to have your credibility. I mean, you have to know what you're actually talking about. And if they ask for evidence, you show them evidence. Or a lot of times in my webinars, I already show the evidence. I show the science. I mean, it's all very fact checked and believable. So, but I think the biggest part is really that you have almost like an emotional investment there. You want, in a professional sense, you do want to have your boundaries up and protect yourself, but you also want to create, like a relationship, like a family member friendship. You care about them.
I love that emotional investment, as well as demonstrating that credibility. And also, I love what you said about building partnerships with your clients as well as your clients' healthcare providers. I absolutely love that. And I can understand why that can ease the conscience of your clients, because sometimes in some spaces, it's almost like they have to choose one or the other. So I do
Yeah,
like
no.
your approach there,
Mhm.
that your partnership with their healthcare provider so that they can live their best life. So I love that. Thank you so much. So Corry, we're going to start downshifting in our conversation. I've been loving our conversation, and thank you for going on the road with me with some of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit more about. But as you know, that this is the Women's Leadership Mindset series. And I believe that every woman is a leader, and that every woman has a controlling influence, whether it's over a particular domain, a cause, a people, a territory, or even a region. So if, in your own words, what kind of leader would you describe yourself to be?
Oh, let me see. Hmm. There's so many thoughts in my head right now. Not quite sure which one to pick. Um, I would like the mission that I'm on, what I'm standing for is that really empowering women to take back their power, to stand in their power, to heal themselves naturally with their female intuition and also with nature, and to heal other women. I want to create a little bit of an army of healed women, and we peacefully march forward and leave those outdated systems behind. We want to leave behind the patriarchy. We do want to take care of our brothers. I love men, but the systems that are created, that are in place, are really bad for both women and men. So we want to move forward together, pick up our brothers on the way, our progressive brothers, and walk together, and then leave those systems behind and create a better world, honestly, right? That's good for all of us, that's full of equality and compassion and helping the planet survive and end all this stupid crap about war and oh my God. Anyway, I don't want to get into all this, but so I think my role is that of a peaceful leader. Um, I just want to be like mm, almost like a Buddhist, a compassionate leader, but we're also fierce. We're like, we're fierce. We don't back down from anything anymore. And we gather our forces and we march together. That's how I visualize it. I don't know if that answered your question.
Absolutely. Yes, so thank you for laying that out. Peaceful, fierce, compassionate leader. I love that. And building an army of healed women. Absolutely. So how would you like future generations to benefit from the work that you're doing today?
Oh, I would love for future generations. I would love for them to know that they can heal themselves. There's so many young people with these chronic illnesses. It's so heartbreaking. So we can heal ourselves with nature, absolutely. I want them to know that, and I want them to know that they are worthy, especially women. They are so worthy and so loved. Oh, now I'm gonna cry. Um, oh my God, oh my God, sorry.
It's
Just,
okay.
I just have so much hope for our young people. And everything that we're going through right now on the planet is so, hmm, I don't want to say any negative words, not introduce any negative words into this context, but we have so much work to do. And we need to roll up our sleeves and stand together and really uplift all of us and end these systems that we're in and these power systems and these systems that benefit a few but not the collective. And we can survive if we have compassion for the planet. We can survive with other means. We don't have to do the oil and the money grab, and we don't need to do this. We can survive as a species if we apply compassion, if we uplift our brothers and sisters, and if we have equality and protect the environment and address climate change and be progressive, and we can totally survive. We don't need to live in fear that we need the country's oil or those old concepts. We don't need that anymore. So for future generations, I just want them to know that we can do all this. We just need to band together in compassion and fierceness and power, stand in our power, take it back, and move forward.
Absolutely. And I totally agree that we do have much to work to do. And as you mentioned, that compassion, that fierceness is definitely the way to go. And so that kind of leads into my next question because, as you know, um, I am passionate to basically to employ love as the ultimate success factor to help women to renew their leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose. So overall, I believe that the effective power of love, it is that game changer. It is the game changer to the work that we have to do for our generation as well as for the next generation. And I also believe that love gives us that edge, not just in our heart matters, but also provides an edge for us to be innovative in our business, to be powerful in leadership, to be fully present, whether it's for our team, our stakeholders, our clients, knowledgeable, as you mentioned, making sure that your information is credible. So being knowledgeable in our industry and industry trends, as well as being benevolent in our community service. So knowing how powerful love is and that is that game changer for us to change the systems or to pull down certain systems so that future generations can uh, have the chance to live out, fully realize the human experience. Knowing that love is that game changer, how has love tangibly shaped you as the fierce, the peaceful, and the compassionate leader that you are?
Wow, another great and loaded question. You have good questions, my friend. Um, so for me personally, and I know there's actually science and research around that topic. So when your heart chakra is fully opened, you can actually measure that in the body, and it really impacts the immune system as well. It actually strengthens your immune system and prevents disease in this way, right? The scientists are really researching now emotions in our body and how emotions, positive emotions, affect our organs and tissues. I love that. This is exactly the link that we need, the missing link. So for me personally, um, everything that happens that's good in my life comes from love. When I'm in a loving state, all the good things start happening. When I'm in self-doubt or when I'm critical or something like that, then nothing happens or bad things happen. But when I can create myself to be on a higher vibration and to be full of love and compassion, that's when good things happen. And I try to do this every morning. I try to meditate for at least 5 minutes and to just come into this higher vibrational state. And then the day is usually easy. It's fun. I meet great people, and then we can all help each other, and this is what I really want. But if I don't meditate, I've noticed that, then this doesn't necessarily happen. And I've had days where I don't meditate and where the day is not good. So to answer your question, personally, for me, love is an extremely powerful force just because it lifts our vibration. And with a high vibration, if you send that out into the world, you attract, of course, the high vibrational things or people. And then it's a good day or a good week. Yes.
Absolutely. And you've already demonstrated and talked about in detail, whether it was with your program or whether it's with your free webinars or whether it's with your networking and relationship building with prospective or your existing clients. So in what other ways, I believe those are practical demonstrations of what love is, of how you demonstrate love within your business model. So in what other ways do you practically implement the functionality of love in your business model?
Well, as I said, when I when I create myself to be on a higher frequency or a higher vibrational level, and I go into a networking meeting, for example, I attract people. Because they feel that even through Zoom, they feel the vibration, and then they want to talk to me. And then we usually do meetings after one-on-ones after that, or schedule one-on-ones. And that's how we connect and help each other. And it's usually women that I connect with the best, to be honest, because men sometimes get confused by all this. Like, men cannot understand what this vibration is about, right? And then they go into a different sector of life, which is not what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? It's like they feel like they want to start a relationship with me or something. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to build an army of healed women and men to destroy our systems or to move away from our current systems. So, and I do have a boyfriend, by the way. And the way I apply love in my life is, in a business sense, is I try to uplift other people's vibrations in professional settings. So I try to get myself into a higher vibrational setting, and then I go to my networking meetings and try to uplift that spirit over there as well. And yeah, I mean, you can tell the difference, definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Corry, as we prepare to wind down, you have been educating us the entire time throughout this entire conversation, and I thank you so much for being so open and transparent with us on today. So what are some tips as we prepare to wrap up our conversation? What are some tips or encouragement or even a resource that you would give to someone that is looking to looking to step into their dream career or either to start their dream business to make that a reality? But they're still a little nervous about it. They're still a little bit jittery about it. They haven't quite jumped off the fence. What tip, what encouragement or resource would you give to someone that's in that space?
I think, and I know this is a scary process to transition and to fully stand in your power and your purpose, but I would recommend anyone to get a coach, to get either a guide or a mentor or a coach, because honestly, I wasted a lot of time in the beginning not having a coach. And as soon as I started having coaches and experts that guided me, I was flying, sailing, or however you say that. It was so much easier because you need someone by your side. It's so much easier to learn from someone who's already done it and to copy what they're doing, or to, to apply it to your own process, but to see that it's doable, it's possible. You just learn from them and do it, make it your own way then. But it's so much easier than trying to do it on your own, really. It saves you time and money and hassle and nightmares. So yeah, that's my advice. Get a coach early on.
Wonderful. Now, what about those who might already be living the dream? They've already stepped into their dream career. They already started their dream business, but they might be feeling a little stuck or a little frustrated. What tip, what encouragement or resource would you give to those to help them keep moving forward?
I would say the same thing. Get guidance. Get someone to your side who has done this already and who knows it's doable. And don't psychoanalyze yourself so much. I mean, yeah, of course, we want to grow and build ourselves up too. But a lot of times, building a business is just the process. You need a formula for that. And if you follow the steps, then it will be successful. You will have results. And that's what a coach is for, to show you the formula and to help you snap out of your emotions if you're stuck in whatever phase you're stuck in. So I would recommend get someone who's done this before, who's done this already, who knows what they're doing, who has success with that, and just follow them. That's what I would recommend. And don't think so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, Corry, you have a free gift for our audience on today. You have a free monthly webinar, free guide, as well as an opportunity to have a complimentary 15-minute consultation with you. Why don't you tell us about these wonderful gifts that you have for our audience?
Yes, so I was racking my brain about a free gift, but I think all three together is a nice package. So I have a free webinar if you have chronic health issues, if you would like to hear more about the process and what we do and how we do it. It's a free webinar that happens once a month, typically towards the mid or the end of the month. And the information is on my website. And there's also a free guide on my website, a free resource that you can just download. It's a little mini ebook, 15 pages, I think, about detoxification. And yes, a free consultation is also on the website. You can just click on book a call, and then you talk to me, and not to a coach or someone, but to me personally. And yeah, I mean, the webinar is amazing for just to get more information and to see if that's something that you would be interested in. And yes, that's it.
Yes, absolutely. We'll make sure that we get that information in the bio so that our listening audience could take full advantage of all of these wonderful goodies you've given us on today. Now, it was such an honor to be able to spend some time with you, Corry. I've enjoyed our conversation. What are the last words that you would like to leave our audience as we move forward in 2025?
First of all, thank you so much again for inviting me. It was such a pleasure to talk to you as well, and we had a great big topic here. So this is wonderful. I think I would like to leave people with the knowledge that they are worthy, that they are capable, that they can do anything they want to do. It's absolutely possible. And don't let anybody talk you out of this, not even your generational trauma and your subconscious beliefs. You are absolutely capable of doing anything you want to do. So you have guidance along the way. You have your invisible guidance, your guides from above, and you have people in this lifetime too. So just find the people to support you and do it. You can do anything.
Thank you so much for those final words. I hope you heard that, audience. You are worthy, you are capable, and don't let anyone talk you out of it, not even your emotional trauma. So, Corry, I want to say thank you so much. It was such an honor to have you on today. Thank you, thank you. Well, ladies, we want to say thank you for joining us. Remember to connect with our guest, Corry, and her free gift, and you can connect with her by visiting her website, which is www.corrylang.com. Be sure while you're there to connect with her on her social media, which is LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Instagram and YouTube. And make sure while you're visiting her website that you also check out her free monthly webinar and download her free guide that's downloadable. And make sure that you book a call for a complimentary 15-minute consultation. You can book that call at calendly.com/Corry Lang. So now, if you have an important story to tell that would inspire others to step into their dream career or business, if so, check the bio to learn how to become one of my special guests. And also, it is the most wonderful time of the year, and as we move forward in 2025, I want to be able to help you to celebrate your loved ones as well as your teams with the My Journey to Wholeness book series and gift collection featuring my new book, My Journey to Wholeness, Love the Success Factor. So I invite you to visit my office corner at Teresa K page at squarespace.com to check out my gift collection. So to learn more, please check the bio. So we want to thank you for joining in for another episode of the Women's Leadership Mindset series. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, here's to the journey, and let's move forward.